verite style, wherein the filmmaker will be also interacting with the subjects in that. She also tries to, give her point of view, her opinions, and what she wants to say to you through the documentary. And we will just hear from the director, producer, and cinematographer, Divya Kawasji, about what made her do such a documentary. What was the inspiration behind it?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to make a small clarification before I begin that my brother Jal is also the co-director and the producer as well as the editor. No worries. So this actually was never meant to be a film. I never intended to make a film on this. About 7 years ago, I was making another film on the Parsi community called Kissa-e-Parsi that actually premiered at IFFI. And while I was making that film, in speaking to people, I always was interested in Parsi theatre somewhere in the back of my mind. So I conducted interviews for that even then, thinking one day maybe I'll make a movie on this, So I had these interviews in my bank that I had forgotten about. And when I heard in 2017 that these actors were thinking of coming back together for one show, that time the youngest person on the team from that generation was already in their mid-80s. And we had people in their early 90s as well. So I thought I'll just go. I went to Bombay and I said I'll just take my camera and shoot them for a little while and give them the footage as a keepsake. And I basically ended up falling in love with them and what was going on backstage. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just felt like I had to be there and capture it. So I spent all of their rehearsal days with them, weeks, and then the final show. And then for those of you who saw the film, you saw what happened the night before the final show. Someone passes away. And then I was just so taken by their spirit, by the camaraderie, the bond between the old and the young. And how none of them took life too seriously despite everything that was happening to them. And but I had like over 100 hours of footage. I didn't know what to do with it. Every time I'd open it and think, oh, I can make something of this, I'd get overwhelmed and close it. And then I was going through something else and I found footage which I'd shot from my first movie all those years ago, where this couple is talking about their experience in a play where the wife dies on stage and the husband's left all alone. And that actually happened while I was filming for this movie. So that was the moment the penny dropped and I said, I have to do something with this. And but I'm not an editor. I was totally lost. And then my brother just moved back from New York where he studied film, and lockdown happened. And we decided now we are here. We need to give this all our time and effort. And actually that's why, though Jal came in only at the end, at the editorial stage, I say he's the co-director of the film because the film actually came together on the edit table. It was not anything before then. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Divya. And this is the second time, her second IFFI, and she was here earlier in 2014, that also with documentary film. And we'll also love to hear from Jal Kawasji, and he's a co-producer and the co-director and the editor. But in the credit thing, I think I've seen only as editor.
In the film, maybe I think there's some error of communication.
Yeah, okay, fine. So we'll also like to hear from you. As she said, the film actually took shape on the edit table.
Yeah.
So please share your thoughts and how you went through it.
We spent a lot of time doing this, sorry, yeah, I have to push this. Incredible amount of footage, knowing that there's something there, but not knowing how to give it a structure, how to find the narrative structure. So I just spent, I think before we even started editing, I spent 3 months just categorizing all the footage into for anyone who edits, you have something called a timeline. So 25 to 30 different timelines with different topics, friendship amongst the young and old. I was just trying to find different themes that I could see. And once we had those themes laid out, we realized there is something substantial here. And that's how, painfully slowly, the film slowly took shape. And my sister and I we have our own independent things that we do in our lives. I'm a cinematographer, she's a filmmaker, photographer, but we love to come back together time and time again to collaborate. So this film was actually our first film under our banner called Bhai Behan Films, which we hope will continue on after this. But it's really rewarding to have a good sibling working relationship, because I feel like a lot of siblings, at least from what I've heard, don't. And we tend to usually have the same, not only aesthetic, but even narrative visions and ideas, or we mesh. So it was a very nice collaborative process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jal. And this film had its world premiere at Film South Asia in Kathmandu 2022, and also had many screens across the world, and also Binimo planned, right?
Yes.
Okay, then before we open up the floor for questions, we'll go to the feature film also, HADINELENTU, which in Kannada translates to 17ers, 17, okay? Yeah, it deals with teenagers, by the way. And before I read out the synopsis, we will have the trailer, please. Last 12 students, Deeba and Hari, record their intimate moments in a classroom after college hours on a Saturday afternoon on Deeba's phone. On Monday, they are summoned by the principal and told to their horror that their video is shown, it's there in the internet. Their families are shattered. The college administration decides their fate while they remain rusticated. But things begin to spiral out of control when the question of their caste comes into fore. So this basically, the running theme is about the issues that the urban teenagers face today. But through that, they are trying to bring in many burning issues into it, like casteism, discrimination against Dalits, the gender discrimination, then the patriarchy, deep-rooted patriarchy, everything. So I would like to hear more about the film from the director himself. Prithvi, please. Can you use this?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Well, the title of the film, I couldn't pronounce it properly. It's HADINELENTU. The English title that we have kept is 17ers. And like the word 17ers, which has no meaning, no actual meaning, no dictionary meaning, HADINELENTU also doesn't have any dictionary meaning, but the word basically refers to an age group of 17 and 18 years, this bracket. So it's a combination of the word HADINELU and HADINENTU, meaning 17 and 18, so HADINELENTU. So it's a Kannada film. Hopefully some of you have watched the film. Like the trailer showed, that's the beginning of the film where the two youngsters, teenagers, indulge in intimacy in a classroom. So what happens afterwards, not just in terms of family, but in terms of society and in terms of other obligational complications, that forms the rest of the story. So where we have left it open in the end, I think you can imagine where it might go to, next. That's the reason why we have kept the ending like that. So that's pretty much, what I can say right now about the films. But whatever questions you have, by the way, our entire team is here. Like I said, we are from Bangalore. We come in big numbers. Some 10 of us are here. So if you have questions to ask to any of our actors, producer, or others, you're welcome. They will answer also.
Okay, before that, we will hear from Sherlyn also a few words on how, about the character itself and. Okay.
So, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Prithvi sir for giving me this opportunity. This is something very new in my life and a great experience also. And about the character, I played the role of Deepa, and which shows that how lower class middle girl wants to be like, or tries to be that modern girl, or she whatever opportunity she gets, she is using that. So yeah, it tells about that. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
She will answer more questions as we
Warm welcome to your team also here. Who are there? I think Neeraj and Rekha, the vice principal, right? Bhavani Prakash, yeah, and Ravi Hebali, our principal. Yeah. So I think we'll open the floor for questions. You can ask either of them, whatever you want to. Please, mics. Yes. Yeah, you'll get the mic. You can speak.
Divya, this Parsi theatre, the humor and music plays a very important role. Can you shed some light on that?
So, Parsi theatre, I won't talk about the whole genesis of it, but what it evolved into eventually as what we know as modern Parsi theatre was a lot of what they called variety reviews. So it was a lot of singing, dancing, jokes, like he said in the film also, they'd call magicians, rubber men, they'd have can-can dancers. It was like a mix of as much entertainment as you could pack into those 2 or 3 hours. And a lot of these actors who you saw who are, now quite old, they actually, when they came back to stage for the first time, many of them were like with, wheelchairs and walkers, and they said, no, we can't move. And the whole process of coming together and putting this performance invigorated them so much that by the end they were also singing and dancing and kicking up their heels. And at one time, Parsi theatre was so popular in Mumbai that I'm not sure whether this is fact or like urban legend, but there's apparently a train from Gujarat called the Theatre Express that used to come on Sunday morning with just the entire train packed with Gujarati speaking audiences to watch the play and then take them back home. That's how popular it was at one time. And I think it's because of, the community themselves are quite fun-loving, and it was this very no-holds-barred, unfiltered, silly sort of, humor that I think appealed to people, where they could just forget about their worries and have a good laugh. And a lot of a lot of very good playwrights did try to write more serious theatre, tragedies, even Adi Marzban, who is the greatest playwright of the modern era, and they didn't work because the audiences just wanted to laugh and nothing else. They said, no, we come here as an escape. So, yeah.
They started with English language.
No, it started actually with, they started adapting Shakespeare's plays into Gujarati. And it's primarily always been Gujarati with a little bit of English thrown in. Thank you.
But after how many years they came back to, you know, perform? The break was how many years, and how, when they, which year they came back to perform on the stage again?
The break was 20 to 30 years almost for them. And they actually came back first in 2014. This journalist was writing a book on Parsi theatre, Meher Marfatia, called Laughter in the House. It's mentioned in the movie. And she was going around doing research for this book. So she was talking to these old actors, and, you know, because of the interest that she was drumming up, they were pulling out old photographs, thinking of old memories and talking. And through that process, they had an idea like, hey, let's put up a show. So they actually put up a show first in 2014. That time I was nowhere on the scene. A few months later, I came and started interviewing people for Kissa Parsi, which I was telling you is my first movie on the Parsis. And everyone said, hey, where were you a few months ago? We were doing all this. I said, I had no idea, and if anything like this ever happens again, keep me in mind. So then they came back to do, 5 years later, to do it one more time, because the earlier time had been such a success. So
This is my last question. These Parsis, they are very good actors. But when it comes to Bollywood, very few of them got, you know, good roles, and rest all got, you know, some small roles in different big movies, but very small roles, like Sanjay Dutt movie, Lage Raho Munna Bhai, and a host of other movies. So, what do you feel about this?
are you asking me why that? I can't comment on why that is the case.
Since they are in minorities, you mean to say this must have happened because of they are in minorities?
You know, do you know what's the number of Parsis in the world?
It's
any rough figure, I mean, guesstimate you can give. Around 60?
Yeah,
That's
it's
correct.
60,000. So, I mean, for the number that they are, I think they've still, maybe not actors, but as cinematographers, lighting people, producers, there have been quite a few names. I think actually Parsi theatre has had a big influence on Bollywood as we understand it today. It was the first theatre in India that actually had women coming and acting on stage as themselves. Earlier it was always men, you know, coming and playing women. So it was very progressive in that way, and it paved the way for a lot of what early Bollywood was as well.
So,
Divya?
and in fact, their contribution to other fields also, other than cinema also, and compared to their number, I mean, it's very disproportionately very large. Yeah.
Hi. So I have two questions, one for Divya and one for Prithvi. I'll start with women first. Hi Divya, kem che?
Majama.
Yeah.
Tame kem che?
Majama, thank you. Okay Divya, so my first question is, sorry I missed the trailer. I don't have much idea about it. One is the question and one is a statement. The statement is that yes, I totally agree that Parsi literally invested their everything into entertainment, because my grandfather used to work with Parsis, so I'm aware of it. I have heard lots of stories. So probably your that train and express, that Parsi theatre could be, you know, correct.
Keep it straight.
Yeah. Okay. Now, secondly, there is one very famous Italian film. Okay, the name is The Night Before Finals. It's a comedy film. So my question is to you that वहाँ से आपने कुछ inspiration लिया है इससे, because even that is comedy, and somewhere it has to do nothing with senior citizens, but somewhere the story revolve around the teenager and youngsters, and it has the same message.
I will have to check out this film because I don't know the film you're talking about. So no, I'm not.
Good luck
taken
with
in-
your film.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And hi Prithvi. So my question is कि Deepa, right? Deepa का जो character है, do you you are friendly with Hindi?
Somewhat, yes. You
Alright.
can ask in Hindi, no issues.
All right.
Excuse me, I think we'll go with English since...
Certainly, sure, I can.
Thank you.
Okay, Prithvi. So my question is that why did you write the character like Deepa? What you exactly you were thinking when you say that a low middle class girl, okay, trying to show her modern side by having some cozy moments or some intimate moments with her boyfriend. So what exactly you were thinking while designing that character?
See, that character, uh, see, first of all, I don't start with the character. I usually start with an idea. Characters are written later on, meaning characters are developed as I progress with the idea. So when I started with that idea and as it was progressing, a few of my past experiences also, came to my mind. I had made a documentary for PSBT. It's on YouTube actually. It was telecast on Doordarshan, where I had met with these high school kids from rural background. It was shot in Doddaballapura. So while making that documentary, I had come across these kids. If you interacted with those kids, and then if you interacted with their parents, you wouldn't believe that they come from they live in the same household and they are related. Their parents and kids. That's how different they are. The parents they actually do household chores. They work as maids in different houses, or they do actual coolie work, the actual construction work. But the kids, they wear modern dresses. They have these smartphones. Sometimes they even have two-wheelers that the parents don't have, which is I don't know what's the idea there. Maybe it's just that the parents, even the poor parents, want everything to be given to their children. I don't know what it is. So all these things were helpful in designing Deepa's character, and because she comes from a lower middle class background, I wanted that character to be particularly slightly rebellious in her overall dealing and other things. So that's how the whole thing evolved. But I can't really say that. Of course, there is design. You always design a character, but then not necessarily consciously. There are plenty of other subconscious thoughts that goes into it, which I won't know to answer you. But consciously, at least these factors played into it. And also, when you are you never, at least I don't design characters or plot in isolation, because they are interconnected, and because of characters you have plot, and because of plot characters make the choices that they make. So given that it always grows together, it's not that you design a character in isolation and put it in a in a situation. Thank you. Thanks.
Actually, HADINELENTU, this movie premiered, had its world premiere in International Film Festival of Busan, 2022. And this is Prithvi's third movie, which is being, third time he's coming to IFFI. It's a third movie. Earlier in 2017 and 2020, his films were screened here. And if any of your crew, cast, want to share your experience and involvement in the making of this film, what about you, Neeraj? Or
You want to share something? Come.
he was the lead actor, right?
He's the lead.
Yeah. You want to share something about the movie? You can stand here. Please give the mic to him. You can stand here.
Hi everyone, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Prithvi sir for giving me the opportunity, and I want to say something specific about Prithvi sir. He never watched after take was done, he never watched it on monitor. He used to watch us directly. Not even once he watched the video. So he had a specific way, the making of the movie. We were told that the emotions, you have to feel the character and just say what you like. It's not. We didn't follow a proper script actually. We were given the choice to use our own words. So improvise when we can, not always improvising, but when it's necessary. So it was done like that.
Thank you, Dinesh. And anyone else want to share something, please? Yeah. Mr. Ravi Hebeli.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank the Konono brothers for having me in this movie.
It's on.
Yeah, for having me in this movie. I do not come from an acting background, or nor have I gone to any school to learn acting. So I'm basically a surgeon by profession. So all these good things happened, like I said, was during the lockdown, and this thing cropped up one of the ads for an audition, and then my sister-in-law and my daughter forced me to send my picture and details, and I said, no, this is not for me. I don't know acting. So my daughter, who's about 20 years old now, told me, you act so much at home, why can't you go and do this? So that was the inspiration, and then I ended up there. But it was a great experience for me for the first time. And working with Prithvi was the most comfortable thing that we could do, all of us in the crew could do. And when I spoke to him first, after he liked me for the character that he was thinking, I told him that we spoke on phone because we were in lockdown, we couldn't meet each other. So I told him I do not know acting. He said, that's good, I don't want you to act, I want you to come and be yourself. And when I met him also, when we went for the rehearsal, he just said, this is a script, so I want this to be conveyed in the scene. And you can use your words, you can mix Kannada and English words. So that was something that made it very easy for me, because in our colloquial thing, we use both Kannada and English when we speak. So that was easy. And he said, you don't act here, just be what you are at the dining table. And that was what. And since I was also into teaching for about 20 years before I did this movie, that role really fit me well because I could be strict. And if you have two grown-up children, you know how you are strict. Thank you so much.
I really vouch for what he said. I couldn't watch the entire movie, but he was very natural. In fact, you reminded me of some of few of the headmasters or principals. I studied in 3-4 schools whom I met. Thank you so much. Anyone else from the team want to come? Yeah, please.
Hello everyone, good evening. So we heard both the non-feature film and feature film, let's say, viewpoints. And when we look at the production part, so we hear Bhai Behan Productions, and here it's Konenur Productions, two brothers. So there is a serious message also, or serious thought that should go in. Why is it that they are producing it? Who else can come forward and produce for such talented directors? Yeah. So I think we need more producers who can invest a lot more to produce such quality films. Even more, it should reach the masses. And thankfully, I should thank Prithvi, who I know as a very good friend from my engineering days. So it's more than 20 years now that I know Prithvi. And we had the discussion when he had a premiere of, or let's say special show of his movie Pinky Ellie. And that's how we met and discussed. He had a thought about the script, and he was looking for somebody who could join hands and produce this movie. And by profession, I'm a software engineer, and all I could think of was I have seen the passion that he had towards movie making right from engineering days, and I wanted to see my friend pursue this and reach greater heights. And it was not possible for me alone when I had to invest. I had to rely on my friends, and who voluntarily, when I said my engineering friends, when I took the name of Prithvi, they had all seen him being so crazy about it, and they said yes. So they had that belief in him. Through me, they all are party to this, and we are really very proud of this moment that we are celebrating it today here. And I only wish the movie reaches greater heights, and we need more such talented directors for the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santosh. You really did a wise decision by investing in. I mean, it is such an excellent piece of art. Thank you so much for producing and letting us enjoy it. Thank you so much. And any other questions?
you a trained filmmaker? Because just now he said you are an engineer. Where did you learn filmmaking? Are you a trained filmmaker?
Well, I did. Yeah, I worked in software for a while, and then I went to New York Film Academy for a short-term program, 2 months program only. So that's the only training that I have done, the short 2 months program at New York Film Academy.
If I may add on a lighter note, so I have seen him in the engineering days. I think all the time there would be some or the other movie which he used to watch in his room whenever we visited him. And even day before exam, he would be watching one or the other movie to really get his film making senses. And it's not that on his academics he was behind, so he was one of the brightest minds we had in the college as well.
So if there are no more questions from the audience, we will wind up. I wish all the very best to both the team, cast, crew, many more success and many more screenings ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.